perfect way to unify everybody and also drive up the dollar. You notice the dollar shot up today. So did gold. It's all seen as a safe haven because America's still the big empire. Even though we're bankrupt by design, we've got this supposed hardware and weapon systems. And the biggest military, more than half the world's defense budgets combined. Here in the United States, about 54% last time I checked of total global defense spending is by this country. We build the military and train the military, finance the military to empower the globalist. So then America gets the blame while the globalists get the brawn and never get identified. So this is a way to get everybody to pour back into dollars to prop up the economy for the globalist as they continue to consolidate. You got Europe going down the tubes. You've got a, quote, fire sale of Irish banks going on right now. So the IMF and World Bank get them in debt, put politicians in power by financing them on record to get the nation in debt. Then the big IMF World Bank come in with European EU taxpayer money, with U.S. taxpayer money, and, quote, shore up Ireland. But if you read, notice that's why they had to get them into Ireland so they'd be under that treaty last year. They couldn't implode Ireland till they got them into that treaty, as we predicted last year. Now that they've gotten them into the treaty this year, now it's a complete fire sale. They're cutting their pension funds, raising their taxes, and taking over their domestic banks and blaming their domestic banks in the news for what happened in Ireland when the policy was set by the global central banks of the IMF and World Bank. And that is in the news today. This is out of Yahoo Finance, Reuters, by Steve Slater. Ireland hoist for sale sign over stricken banks. Reuters, Ireland banks are up for sale, the country's central bank chief said, as the government seeks to cut them down in size after the reckless lending forced the country to seek an international bailout. They are for sale, as far as I'm concerned, said Patrick Hunhan, said Thursday. And it goes on, I have been an advocate for a number of years for small countries to have foreign owners for their banks. Oh, yeah, that's freedom. See, the end of your sovereignty. And it's not some foreign government that dominates you. It's the private central banks. And that's Patrick Honohan. Dublin has already said it will intensify reform of the banks. Reforms always. See, when the IMF and World Bank takes over a third world country, reform is raising taxes, cutting services, and giving almost all your GDP to the private banks. And then after they're done with Ireland, it'll be Portugal and Spain and England and France, and then Germany, and then the United States. And it's just all publicly done in plain view, but the general public doesn't understand this. They know about Natalie Holloway. They know about O.J. Simpson. They know about Dancing with the Stars. They know that Sarah Palin's cute, and they just get caught up in the mindlessness of it as the private central banks conquer our society. Now, I want to play this Russia Today clip with how concerned Russia is here in just a moment, and also show you some of the video, what's going on for PrisonPlanet.tv viewers. But that's why they would stage this. We don't know if it was staged, but that's why the globalists would stage this with Korea right now as a political diversion and to get the world to run under the wings like baby chicks of the Anglo-American establishment, scared of North Korea, who we know Donald Rumsfeld, the head of ABB, transferred the nuclear reactors to in the mid-1990s and got bipartisan backing and authorization from William Jefferson Clinton. Unified, continuity of agenda, and treason. Here's the RT clip. Stay with us.
South Korea has admitted it fired artillery shells that triggered an early morning clash with North Korea. However, it says it was part of a military drill and denied it was directed at the North. Earlier, Seoul blamed the North for what it called an unprovoked shelling of its island. Pyongyang claimed the South had violated its maritime border during the military drills. Seoul has since threatened its neighbour with what it calls enormous retaliation. Russia's foreign ministry said the clashes were unacceptable and called on both sides to show restraint.
What happened deserves condemnation. We insist that both sides must take measures to pacify the situation and prevent similar action in the future. Unfortunately, this is already the third incident of the kind this year, but this time there's a colossal danger of the situation descending into military conflict. This must be avoided. Russia has repeatedly warned of the growing tension in the region and is now counting on both sides to arrive at a suitable conclusion.
Well, Pavel Leshakov from the Moscow State University told RT the international community is prejudiced against the North and is ready to blame it for everything with little evidence.
Okay. You can watch the rest of that up at RT.com and on YouTube, but that's the Russian view. Here's CNBC, world edgy on Korea. Russia sees colossal danger. Major powers express concern and alarm at North Korea's shelling of South Korean island today. And it goes on. Among North Korea's neighbors, Russia said it saw a colossal danger of an escalation in fighting on the Korean Peninsula, and China said it was imperative to resume six-party talks aimed at ending the North's nuclear weapons program. And it just continues on from there. We're going to be covering more of that coming up. Wayne Madsen is joining us in about an hour and 10 minutes from now to give us his expert early look and view on this. We'll obviously learn more as it develops and unfolds. Ron Paul scheduled to be coming up later in this hour, and Judge Andrew Napolitano pops in the last hour today. We'll also cover the latest TSA situation ahead of one of the busiest flight days of the year coming up in T-minus 2 days on Thursday.
Pure water. What could be better than the gift of health for your loved ones? And who better to help you give the gift this holiday season than BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com? If those on your gift list are drinking or bathing in unfiltered city or well water, chances are that water is contaminated with rust, bacteria, chlorine, and fluoride. For just pennies a day, Berkey Water Filters remove dangerous contaminants from both well and city water, is powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water, and is great for camping and emergencies. Right now, GCN listeners get 5% off all ceramic filter systems and free shipping on orders over $50. Purchase any filter system from BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com to get your choice of Berkey Sport bottles, a KDF shower filter, a set of fluoride filters, or the new Sight Glass spigot, absolutely free. Visit BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com or call 877-99-BERKEY today. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY. Give the gift of health at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com today.
They helped to create a new world order.
We are part of a new world order.
A new world order based upon collective action.
Invisible Empire is a damning indictment of the globalists through their own words and documents.
The new world order really is a tool for addressing a new world of possibilities.
It means all the world under their control.
The United Nations would take over America. The Trilateral Commission would control the world.
Invisible Empire chronicles how men of power and influence have worked in stealth for centuries to establish an oppressive world government.
I believe, first of all, that we now need nothing short of a world constitution for the global financial system.
Global governance with the establishment of the G20.
So it's going to be an inner ruling elite and then everyone else. And I got news for you. You're everyone else.
Invisible Empire. Secure your copy today at Infowars.com or PrisonPlanet.com, or watch it online in the highest quality at PrisonPlanet.tv.
Have you ever felt like the United States government knows way too much about your financial affairs? I continue to hear stories about property seizures, frozen bank accounts, confiscation of stocks and bonds. It makes me wonder if the U.S. citizen will ever again have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Unfortunately, with the Drug and Money Laundering Act, the IRS Revenue Ruling 6045 of 1984, and the Trading with the Enemy Act and Franklin D. Roosevelt's Executive Order of 1933, some precious metal holdings are subject to government intervention. For this reason, Midas Resources has prepared a report explaining the boundaries of trading precious metals privately. Whether if you have any intention of trading with Midas Resources or not, I have instructed my representatives to give this report out free. Call for your free copy at 1-800-686-2237. When investing, always proceed with caution. Again, call 1-800-686-2237. Exercise your legal right to trade metals privately. 1-800-686-2237.
Hurricanes, ice storms, blackouts, and the prospect of civil unrest. When the unexpected happens, will you be ready? Hundreds of concerned citizens across America have already installed wind generators to help protect their families in the event of a disaster. So act now and build your own wind generator with an easy-to-assemble kit from WindBluePower.com. Wind Blue Power carries the best battery charging wind generators and permanent magnet alternators in the country. Our 12-volt wind generator kits are also great for small all cabins and campers. And all Wind Blue Power kits qualify for a 30% tax credit. So get your discount now. Go to WINDBLUE power.com today and enter coupon code RADIO for 5% off, or simply call 800-976-0026. 800-976-0026. Protect your family's emergency energy needs now at windbluepower.com.
Thank you for joining us on this Tuesday edition, the 23rd day of November 2010. This Korea situation is so big, it's so dangerous. Some would liken it to, oh, that's just like the Arabs and Israelis always killing each other. This is different because both sides have giant mechanized militaries. And they have only had a few skirmishes like this in the last 50-plus years. And I was reading in the Associated Press, they were going over the history of this. This may be the biggest fracas or escalation in the entire history since the truce. This is simply a ceasefire. There's not been an armistice. There's not been any formal agreement. It is a ceasefire. Kind of like there was a ceasefire right before the Tet Offensive in Vietnam that lasted just a few days. Well, this one has lasted 50-plus years. And many of my great uncles and family fought in Korea. I know you've got a lot of family out there who fought in Korea. This is a very serious situation. 56,000 Americans died in that short conflict. Very, very serious situation. The North are a bunch of brainwashed, cult-like drones who will and have proven they will march right into machine gun fire. We were, of course, fighting China back during that event as well, Chinese regulars. China is, of course, supplying the South, North Korea to its south against South Korea. And we're going to get Ron Paul's take on this, the TSA, quantitative easing too, and a lot more. Obviously, later I'm going to get into the TSA situation. The Drudge Report, drudgereport.com, has Kurt Nemo's story from Infowars.com up there. Day number 2, going over the fact, are trains and buses next? When you read the article, you find out trains and buses are already being searched. Now they're announcing they want mobile naked body scanners on the highways, at the trains and bus terminals. The pretext is anything that Al-Qaeda, Al-Qaeda ever talks about hitting, we've got to put federal minimum wage goons at. Now TSA workers are complaining. I've been talking about this for 2 weeks, the unsanitary nature of the blue gloves searching multiple people. You could get crabs, you could get diseases, you could get flesh-eating bacteria, you could get other forms of mites. And I've also pointed out how this is abusive to the TSA workers. Well, WorldNet Daily covered the unsanitary nature of the gloves today. Glad somebody covered it. Glad somebody took the cue to write stories about it. So we've got that important issue. The TSA workers are also saying, that's the headline, "We hate obese passengers."